You're listening to Cross Rhythms Plymouth 96.3 FM, and I've got the pleasure and privilege today of being joined in the studio by two very special guests. One, he's not really a guest, he's kind of part of the furniture, as Mr. Steve Wheeler. We'll come to him in a little bit. But special guest, Mr. Matt Elmore. Hello, Matt.
Howdy.
How are we doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm very good. His accent gives away he's not a Janner. He's come across the Atlantic to be with us. Matt, you are one of the invisible poets, aren't you? You're one of...
Yeah, you could call me an invisible poet. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Can you see me?
We can see you. But you're basically part of the work that Steve does in terms of poetry. That's sort of a big part of the reason you've come over, really. You kind of come to Europe for other things, I know, but come to see Steve in Plymouth.
Oh, yeah. It's been an amazing place. It's amazing people. Everyone is gracious and humble, and it's such a breath of fresh air.
That's so good.
But it's funny because where I live in Kentucky, everybody is very... The reason that I moved there, I've lived all around, north and south of the Mason-Dixon line. And, barring any civil wars, actually, it's a beautiful place. Kentucky is gorgeous, rolling hills, horses, there's a lot of churches, and just people have great manners and class. I love it. I moved there because of the people.
Yeah. Amazing.
And the woods.
Yeah. So we have Matt in the studio. As I say, we've also got Steve, as you can see if you're watching this on YouTube.
Hello.
And we're gonna talk.
That's his impression.
Yeah, that was, for anyone listening, that was Matt's impression.
Proper job, handsome. Proper job.
He's learning some Janner, I think.
It's not quite working. I don't think.
Not working.
Not necessarily.
Okay. I'll work on that.
But yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about, I suppose, the sort of poetry side of things. Invisible poets. Your passion for poetry, Matt, because we've talked with Steve a lot about that, where that comes from for him, and also kind of faith and where that comes in for you, and how that kind of links into your poetry as well. So I guess first question for you would be, how did you first get involved in writing poetry, just in general? Like, is it something you've done all your life? Tell us a bit about that.
Girls. Girls in class. We would say my mom, whenever birthdays would come around, Christmas, I'd write little things in a card.
Yeah.
As a little kid.
Yeah.
And that just started going from there. And then I was in the classroom in grade school, and Silly Sally was in the back, or Pretty Polly, or whoever mischievous Molly, and got to use alliteration because I'm supposed to be a poet.
So you
adjectives.
So you'd kind of
description.
Like naturally just write poetry. It kind of come out of you in terms of like little things to people you had affection for, whether that's girls or your mum or whatever. It was just part of like your expression, I guess.
It's like B.B. King said about the blues, man. He's like, if I got to describe it to you, you ain't got it.
Yeah.
But I do believe that it's something that can be learned because it's an expression of the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that God gives us all talents and gifts, and we are a channel of those gifts. And whether we are able to utilize them in the proper way is up to us.
Sure. So tell us then, how do you end up being connected with this man,
with Mr. Wheeler,
being
with Uncle Steve,
the other side of the Atlantic? Like,
so
talk to us about that.
So Invisible Poets is a very diverse group of international poets. And we're all around the world.
Facebook group, isn't
Facebook allowed us to come together in this platform, by which it's just an amazing collective of souls, by which we connect at the heart through poetry. Mm-hmm. It's a craft, man. It's a craft. And Steve, I guess he saw. I think I sent in a colored number of my counted days to Steve for the first anthology, Wheel Song, Anthology 1. And so I was kind of there for the beginning of his foray into the anthologies for Wheel Song. So we just kind of hit it off from there. It's been great since then.
That's amazing. That's so cool. And so, like, very practically then, I suppose, did you just find the group on Facebook, simple as that, and then that's how you connected, kind of thing? Or were you, I guess,
Yeah, well, there's a lot of different groups on Facebook, but everyone's tailor made for for the particularity of the poet. There's some dark poetry. Some people are they have more darker tendencies of human nature that they like to express, and some of these groups are geared toward that. They're devotional groups or this and that. Invisible Poets is a kind of brings it all together. And we allow people to express themselves as long as it's not blatantly offensive in any way.
Or AI, which we could come to another time. But that's really cool because it is a very diverse group, and we've talked with Steve a bit about it before. His passion for it and setting
it's a great group.
Yeah, and it kind of allows people to express themselves, gain some really genuine help, feedback, advice, but also just encouragement in terms of their expression. And it really is a community, isn't it? It really is a community. I love how you've come over here. This is the first time you and Steve have met. It seems like you've been friends forever because you've been part of this community for a long time.
And another thing is Steve just brought me into his home. I talked to his wife, Dawn. She's just a sweetheart. She's such an intelligent person, and she's got a great heart. His family is wonderful. I met his daughter. I just met Sam, his son. It's just I think that when you have a Christian base, I think you're able to bring people into your home, just and know that they are, you're safe.
Yeah.
And I told his wife last night. I said, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. And I think that and I think that having that communication between people is what we need in this world, man. This is what we need. We need to talk.
Absolutely. Well, let's stop for some music and we'll come back and talk with Matt and Steve after this. You're listening to Cross Rhythms Plymouth 96.3 FM, and I'm in conversation with Matt Elmore, who is part of the group which Steve Wheeler started. Steve's here as well, which is Invisible Poets. So anyone who listens to the radio regularly, you'll know Poets Corner, where Steve's part of. Maybe came to the showcase, saw Steve performing that. We'll come to Steve in a little bit and talk maybe his passions and sort of why he's been involved in the group he is. But we have talked a bit about that before. It's really nice to hear from you, Matt, as to your perspective coming in as a kind of group member to the beauty of the community that you're part of.
Yes.
And now you've said it's a really diverse community. People communicate all kinds of different things through their poetry. But for you, like Steve, it's a place to express faith. It's a place as much as lots of other things as well. But it's a place for you to communicate your faith. So that's a long way to ask you. Tell us a bit about your faith journey. Kind of what has that been like for you? Is it something that you've always had? Was there kind of a particular moment you came to faith? What's that look like for you?
Oh, well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity to be able to share my faith with anybody. Any testimonial is a golden, a valuable thing that's priceless because every soul is priceless. And whoever's listening to this, you're very treasured by the Lord. And as far as me, I grew up. My mother was Catholic, so she sent me to Catholic grade school, Catholic high school, and I was always in trouble. I was always in trouble, because I'm a bit of a rocker, And but later on. I basically was a bit of a seeker. I read the Quran. I read the sutras. I read the Baghdad Gaite in college, and I bounced with existentialism. I thought, Kafka. I thought I was really cool because I was reading Kafka.
Yeah.
But I morphed into my own when I realized my stepfather had passed away. And then my father had passed away. And then I think that sometimes traumas kind of trigger where we're going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I went to a non-denominational church in Kentucky, and it was amazing. It was amazing. It was my brother's father-in-law was the pastor.
Right.
A real charismatic guy. He would have jiggle legs when he would preach, and he would make people laugh, and he would bring out the joy in the spirit, and he would raise the roof, man.
Yeah.
And so I became aware of the presence the presence. If you go to church and you go to a church and there's the presence isn't there, you know it, you feel it, and you're looking at your watch and he's reading from the Bible. No, go to it. If you're listening now, go to a church where you feel that presence. Because I felt that presence. I got baptized and I heard the ladies singing as I go down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way. Who will wear the thorny crown? Dear Lord, show me the way. So, that was the beginning of it for me.
So
for sure.
That's really cool. I love that. And it's something that's been really a common thread. You wouldn't know this, but a common thread through all the life stories, life lines, testimony interviews I've done.
Sure.
That's something of like seeking and then finding something that is sort of intangible in the sense of, like you say, the presence of God, something that you feel like a sense of, Jesus described as the Prince of Peace. So for many people, it's a sense of peace that they maybe didn't have before. Yeah. And that can be a really hard thing to communicate on the radio, because you're kind of listening to this, you may be listening to this thinking, I've no idea what that means. Others of you will be like, do you know what? Yeah, I do know what that means. And actually, I did feel that years ago. And actually, that's something for me. But that's really important, isn't it? Because it's one thing it being just like intellectual knowledge, understanding theology, all of that stuff's great. Even like you're seeking into philosophy, looking at big questions, what life's about. Those things are really important and great. And having that intellectual side is great. But actually, an experience, a feeling is really profound, isn't it?
I believe it's beyond the mind. I believe that it's love comes from the heart and it comes from the soul. And that's what you're connecting is with the spirit, because we all have the spirit within us. Yeah. So if you can spark the spirit, there's a poem. There's a poem, right? Everything's a poem. Everything's a poem when you're a poet,
Well, I was going to say,
and Steve was like, I think there's a rumor of rain the other morning. And I was like, well, rumor of rain. He's like, I got that one.
Well, it's really interesting because it actually really does link to poetry. I'll bring you in here, Steve. Because something about poetry, same as music, really, and why we play the music that we do, why we're a music-led station, is because it does cut through like your cynicism sometimes, your kind of like questions, your all the head stuff that sometimes is helpful, sometimes really isn't. And it just cuts to the heart. And poetry is designed, isn't it? It's to make you feel, really. It's to evoke a response, a reaction, emotions, all that kind of stuff, isn't it, really?
Do you know, Dave, if you think about it, poetry is lyrics without the music.
Yeah.
Although it has a musicality to it, has a rhythm necessarily to it. And really, it kind of speaks to you, as you say, direct to your spirit, direct to your heart.
Yeah.
Some people say it passes the intellect. I think that's probably a little bit raw to say, but in some ways it does. It goes past your mind and straight to your heart.
Yeah.
And then it makes you feel rather than think.
Yeah.
And then you think after you feel. And I think that's probably part of the power of poetry.
That's amazing. Well, we're going to stop this part there, come back to Matt, who's going to actually read some of his poems for us. Because as I started that section, for both of you, you love sharing your faith through poetry. You love sharing what you're passionate about in terms of faith through poetry.
Oh, yeah.
And it kind of, as you say, with what you said there, Steve, and what we've talked about, it can cut through to the heart, make you feel. So we're gonna hopefully you experience some of that as a listener.
Go on.
Now with
proper, what's the proper term?
Proper job.
We'd say get it where I come from.
Get on. That's the word around here.
Get on the horse and go.
Something like that. We're gonna get to it after this. You're listening to Cross Rhythms Plymouth, 96.3 FM, and on DAB. I always forget to say that, but we're on DAB across Plymouth now.
Proper.
As well. Yeah, indeed.
Proper.
Indeed. Proper job. We're trying to teach our friend Matt here some colloquialisms from Plymouth, and well, you be the judge of how well it's coming across.
You want to hear a couple Kentucky colloquialisms?
Yeah, please do.
Oh, yeah.
Teach
so
us
my
the opposite.
neighbor comes around.
What's the equivalent of, so we say get on, which basically can mean hello, it can mean goodbye, it can mean they're there, it can mean anything. So you're like, get on, Steve, I saw you on the other day. Like, it can mean well done. Do you have anything that's like a word that kind of is just used for everything?
Well, I believe the end of the Bible says, "Come on, Jesus," right?
Yeah.
So Kentucky would say, "Come on with it."
Come on with it.
Come on with it.
What would you be your context for using that? Like in terms of like you meet a friend.
You meet a friend. Howdy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But see, I'm a little city, and I'm a hybrid cowboy. Yeah. Actually, a real good friend of mine, Brandon Adam Haven, and I were joking around about He said, "You're a hybrid cowboy," because I grew up in the South, but I'm also from around Chicago. Yeah, right. My family's from Illinois.
Wow.
So
it's kind of like
hybrid cowboy,
Midwest, Brandon, cowboy, Southern, all kind of stuff.
And he lives near Rockford by Chicago, so he knows what I'm talking about. So, a colloquialism from down there. Neighbor comes over and said, "Jeet." Pardon me. What's this? Jeet.
Jeet.
I said, "Oh," he's saying, "Oh, you mean, did I eat? And so I said, "I ate." And he said, "I ate." Yeah. Another good one is, "You want to?" One word. "You want to?"
You want to?
"You want to?" "Would you like to?"
Very good. Love it.
Steve was just like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, very good. Well, the shoe's on the other foot now. We've been giving him stuff that doesn't make sense from from Janaland.
I could go on all day, but I don't think you want to hear that.
No, let's get into some poems. So, Matt, share from your sort of back catalogue some of the stuff that you've written.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, so I've recently downloaded. Would you believe I've got 1,800 poems on the iCloud? So I mean, that's insane. It's just an insane thing. And the reason I'm doing this, and the reason that I came here today, of course, to meet Steve, because he is a bit of a literary hero to me. He's a marvelous modern poet. And he's on the cutting edge. His book Creative Deviance is an amazing book. It is an amazing book for experimental poetry. Sure. Not to be on here plug you, Steve, and Uncle Steve. But no, seriously. We call him the captain because this is the pirate lands. To me, this is the pirate lands. I've been reading about, Plymouth since I was a little boy in England. And so this is But the reason that I'm doing this is to make a difference. And the Wheel Song Books publishing direction is twofold. One is to find premier poets out there that that are extraordinary in your own unique way. Sure. And the second one is to make a difference. To make a difference, and we do it through Save the Children. Save the Children does so much to not only to feed children, because a lot of people think about it in terms of feeding children, which they do. One book will feed a kid for a month. Mm-hmm. But also it provides for education, protection for children around the world, whether it's through forced labor, sex trafficking. It's just amazing. There's a camel that goes across the desert and brings like Dr. Seuss books to a little girl. The camel librarian. Just these amazing stories. So I'm going to read a poem I wrote about what we are doing as far as Save the Children, and it is called Food Paste.
Nice.
No schools, no tools, nowhere to learn, no placation, no station, no money to burn, no doctors or groceries, no transportation, no protection, no medicine, only frustration, no movie shows with very little clothes, entire families with no sanitation, no smartphones or form of satiation, only a small taste of food paste, and one sweet prayer of meditation. It's hard to consider in our world of plenty. It's only our world, but not a world of so many. Our foolish complaining made in haste. Try all that complaining when all you have to eat is food paste.
So good. Good. That's awesome. So powerful. If we had an audience here, there'd be a big round of applause. Well, we're going to stop for some music and pick it up with Matt and Steve.
Snippety snap.
One more poem, I think, from you, Matt, and that'd be great. We'll do that after this. We are in conversation. I'm in conversation with Steve and Matt. And howdy. Matt's come all the way from Kentucky.
Zoom.
So you were born and raised in Texas, moved to Kentucky. It sounds like you've lived like in lots of America.
So I was
basically.
born in Illinois, in the Ozarks in southern Illinois.
Okay.
And then moved around. My dad was a pipe fitter, so we were moving around a lot.
Yeah.
And he went and worked in Alaska, came back, and he said, guess what? We're going to Texas. And I said, "All right, so let's go to Texas. So I went to Texas, and then we came back. So it's just, it's a long story. It's a long story. But, you know,
Love
I mean, we are the culmination of our experiences and all the different places we live. We carry them with us.
That's true, man. It's true. It's good. And you've come all the way here to see Steve, be part of the Invisible Poets Wheel Song kind of night that you had just the other night.
Dig it.
Before recording this. So it was kind of a live in-person thing that you guys did. And Steve, Matt just read a poem that's called Food Paste, really powerful poem talking about the work Invisible Poets Wheel Song does in terms of the selling of the books raises money for Save the Children. It's huge, isn't it? It's a big part of why you do what you do. It's been a part of the poems you've written and the books you've written for quite a while now.
I think that's the reason we set up Wheel Song Books in 2020 was not just to raise the profile of unknown poets and try and give them a bigger audience, but also to raise funds as a non-profit organisation, to raise funds to help underprivileged children around the world. And I mean the Food Paste poem really epitomizes what we're trying to do. You know that when a child has been malnourished for a long time, you cannot feed them proper food. You know, they reject it, their bodies reject it, so you have to feed them high protein, you know, paste. And that's what we do with the books. We sell a book, and that raises enough money to feed a child for a month, to wean them back onto proper food again. And that's such a need across the world. There are so many malnourished children and starving children in many countries around the world. It's such a huge, terrible thing that's happening. Yeah,
and that was a really powerful poem, Matt.
Thank you.
Speaks to what we talked about before, how poems and poetry and art in general, I suppose music as well, can get right to your heart and like speak to you in an emotional level about something that we can ignore so much. Like part of your poem's about that. We live in such a world of plenty, but actually that's not the case for everyone. So it really speaks to that. Can you?
And it choked me up a little bit. I mean, it's something that's near and dear to my heart. And it means a lot to me. And I often say that a poet is an empath. We feel people's pain and we translate it into reality in a way that people can relate to and enjoy.
That's great. That's really profound. Can you give us another poem to kind of close off our time? That'd be great.
I would love to. And I'm like I said, I'm humbled by having me here. And I would like to read a poem from my newer book here. That Steve. Look at this cover. It's an amazing cover.
That's awesome. Hold it slightly to the middle, and then everyone will see it on the camera.
It's of an angel in a back alley.
Yeah.
And she's contemplating, you know, reality. And
what's it called? What's the name of that
Average
book?
Angel is the name. And this book is a devotional kind of book, but it's so it's not your normal devotional book. Trust me, it is an amazing book that I'm very proud of.
Great. And published again through Wheel Song. And where can people get it?
Amazon UK or Amazon in America, or Barnes & Noble or Waterstones UK.
Okay.
Or you can order it directly through Mr. Wheeler at Wheelsong6.
Wheelsong6@gmail.com is the email, or you can go to wheelsong.co.uk.
Amazing.
Great. And this is Constellation Road.
Great.
My first book, and very proud of this. Some beat poet sensibility going on here.
Nice.
Was rolling with this last night. I was rolling with that book last night.
Yeah.
That's great.
I would like to share a poem with you about life. And I hope that you can relate to it, because I believe that all poetry is just like music, and it is something that we can relate to, and that's why we like it. It's something that we can, you know, really relate to. So this is called Only Days. What are these to be but only days? To kiss, to dream, to slip away, for a moment in time never to stay. What are these to be but only days? What is life to be but only this? To share, to love, to leave, to miss. Successful failure, oh wretched bliss. What is life to be but only this? What more to have, but more to lose, to pay the toll with years' dues, the sun shall fall, then slowly fade. What are these to be, but only days?
Amazing. Awesome. Matt, thank you so much. It's been really great to have you on, and wish you all the best as this kind of continues. And anyone who wants to check out more of what Matt does and what Steve does in terms of the poetry group, check out Invisible Poets on Facebook. You can join the group. There's thousands of people on there. I think every Friday you do a show, is it?
Friday I do a show. Every Friday I do a show at 8 p.m. On Invisible Poets, and I read people's poetry back to them.
Nice. And Matt, you
it's
get
a proper
involved
job.
You get involved in some
job.
of those as well, don't you, Matt? So that's great.
Proper.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Matt. Wish you all the best. And maybe see you here one time again. You never know.
Yes, sir.